also talked about LTT accidentally auctioning that one-of-a-kind prototype without Bullet Labs' permission. It's important to remember that at this point, Steve had a near-perfect reputation, so him making a 40-plus minute video pointing out the issues with Linus Tech Tips was a massive deal and resulted in immense backlash towards Linus. Within days, LTT lost over 200,000 subscribers. A bigger hit came with the loss of over 5,000 members on their paid streaming service, Floatplay, which would have cost the company over $300,000 per year in lost revenue. This left Linus with no choice but to apologize for the mistakes.
I owe you guys better, and I'm sorry.
He also completely shut down video production for the first time in 16 years to reflect on the criticism and find ways to do things better. And while the community's response to the apology was far from stellar, Linus and his team did manage to fix the issues and regain the trust of their fanbase. For a while, it looks like things were heading in the right direction, and the beef between Linus and Steve was a thing of the past. Unfortunately, this peace barely lasted a year. The two creators are clashing once again, and this time, the drama has exploded into something far more chaotic than their previous feud. However, before we can fully dive into the recent drama, we need some important context. It all started in December of 2024, when a YouTuber by the name of Megalag uploaded his expose video on the popular browser extension Honey. In the video, Megalag presented solid evidence that Honey had been secretly replacing creator referral links with its own, essentially stealing millions of dollars in affiliate revenue from creators worldwide.
So what happened when we got to the checkout page? Well, once Honey popped up, watch what happened to Linus's affiliate cookie after we clicked apply discounts. You see that? Honey came in, removed Linus's affiliate cookie, and replaced it with their own, claiming credit for the sale and pocketing the commission money for themselves.
This video went super viral, to the point of becoming the only thing anyone was talking about on the internet. And it wasn't hard to see why. Just about everyone on YouTube had heard of Honey at some point. This is because up until recently, Honey was one of the biggest sponsors on the platform, and had worked with massive creators like Mr. Beast, Mark Rober, and many more.
Do you have Honey installed?
What's Honey?
Oh, no.
Honey.
Honey is a free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
Free browser extension.
That automatically applies coupon codes when you check out online.
Free money, basically.
It's literally free money.
It doesn't make sense to not be using this.
So what's the catch? There is no catch. Join Honey, join Honey, join Honey.
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 Honey. Honey. Honey. Honey. Honey. Honey. Honey.
And while Megalag's video primarily focused on the extension itself, it also featured a section that put Linus Media Group under the spotlight.
But did any of the influencers who are engaging in affiliate marketing ever catch on to what Honey's been doing? Well, it turns out yes, at least one of them did. Linus Tech Tips, who have been promoting Honey since 2017.
Apparently, Linus knew about Honey's scummy business practices, which is why LMG stopped taking sponsorships from them.
However, in 2022, a different user noticed that LMG were no longer promoting Honey and asked the team if they had been dropped as a sponsor, to which one of Linus's employees responded with, "We ended the partnership with Honey due to the way their service interacted with affiliate links. Essentially, if someone clicked on an affiliate link and then they use Honey and search for a deal, Honey will override that tracking link even if they don't find you a deal. That didn't jive with us, so we ended the partnership."
And according to Megalag, Linus and his team should have made a public announcement exposing Honey, instead of quietly ending their partnership and moving on. This made some people mad at Linus, with one comment under Megalag's video reading, "Instead of raising the alarm, LTT chose to remain silent." This is quite telling. However, the vast majority of people were still on Linus's side, like this one comment that pointed out the flaw in the way Megalag presented Linus's involvement, stating, "Megalag was very misleading with parts of this video, not necessarily about what Honey was doing, but when he tried to claim that nobody besides LTT knew about it. A few seconds of research will turn up tons of articles, videos, and Reddit posts outlining exactly what Honey was doing with affiliate codes, dating back years ago. The only reason LTT ever found out what Honey was doing was because of all the other creators dropping Honey. Why was it specifically Linus's responsibility to go around making sure everyone who wasn't paying attention heard the news? People on Reddit were also on Linus's side, with the post defending Linus receiving thousands of upvotes and having little disagreement in the comments.
Did you know that your government and internet service provider knows you're watching this video? In fact, they can see and moderate everything you do on the internet. That's why today's sponsor, ProtonVPN, is so important. ProtonVPN is your ultimate tool for protecting your digital privacy and online freedom. With its strong Swiss legal foundation and fully open source code, you can trust that your data is secure. Whether you're traveling and missing your favorite US streaming services, or you need to bypass censorship to access blocked websites, ProtonVPN has you covered with over 10,000 servers in 110 plus countries. Its advanced features include streaming optimized servers, VPN accelerator for lightning fast speeds up to 10 gigabytes per second, and customizable profiles. All this makes it easy to enjoy uninterrupted high quality content. Plus, ProtonVPN's no-log policy and NetShield ad blocker keeps your online activity private. As a special gift to my audience, ProtonVPN is offering a 64% discount by simply using the link in the description and on screen. With many dislikes
Was something that impacted the
we didn't think it would get in the upcoming by simply using the link in the description and on screen. With that being said, let's get back into the video. However, despite the support, Linus decided to address the situation in the upcoming Wen Show episode, a decision that turned out to be his biggest mistake since regaining his audience's trust. Linus's response essentially boiled down to, quote, "We didn't think it was necessary."
we didn't really think that other than, any creator friends, that it was something that impacted the general consumer, so it wasn't something that really merited a full video or anything like that.
His response was far worse than anyone expected, and a separate upload of his statement ended up with nearly as many dislikes as likes, with some of the top comments on the video pointing out the flaw in Linus's logic, stating, "It's not our story to break, I'm the victim here. Holy hell, dude, nobody is saying you aren't. Megalag is upset you guys figured this out 2.5 years ago and said nothing to anybody. It's not that deep." And LTT were one of the biggest victims but made the least noise. I think that's what's bothering people. Genuine tech tip would have been to uninstall Honey. And to this point, staying silent would have been better for Linus than his poorly thought out response. Something that was perfectly summed up by another person who wrote, "I didn't think this was anything to blame LTT for, not until I came here and then watched them spend 10 minutes explaining how they're not to blame." That said, Linus still had a chance to walk back on this response, apologize, and do the right thing by bringing more light to the Honey issue. During this time, Legal Eagle and countless other YouTubers banded together to file an official lawsuit against Honey. Even if Linus wasn't keen on getting involved in the lawsuit, a simple video breaking down the scam for his millions of viewers could have helped him regain some goodwill and mitigate the backlash. And maybe he would have eventually done that, but we'll never know, because just 2 weeks later, the situation took an unexpected turn. On the 15th of January 2025, Steve uploaded an hour-and-a-half long video titled "Investigation. Gamers Nexus Files New Lawsuit Against PayPal and Honey." He opened the video by talking about the lawsuit he was personally filing against Honey.
"We're suing PayPal and Honey. Gamers Nexus is the lead plaintiff in a class action complaint filed against PayPal and its property, Honey. The punitive class action is already filed, and we're suing
Let's
PayPal
go.
and Honey for 3 things. 1, conversion. 2 is tortious interference with contract. And 3 is unfair deceptive trade practice. We started working with CPM Legal about a month ago, and in the time since, multiple complaints have been filed, including one by YouTuber Legal Eagle. And to be clear, our lawsuit is a completely separate filing. We're not joining theirs, we filed our own."
But 15 minutes in, things took an unexpected turn. Steve shifted gears and started throwing shade at Linus. He began by pointing out that while his business isn't as affected by Honey anymore, he still wouldn't abandon other creators.
And we won't abandon those of you with your own goals and your own aspirations just because it's not affecting us as much anymore.
This was clearly a jab at Linus's response to the whole situation. Now, this likely would have completely been fine. Many were already frustrated with Linus for his lackluster response, and Steve highlighting the same point wouldn't have raised any eyebrows. However, he decided to push his luck and started taking more direct swings at LTT.
Linus recently, in a WAN show episode, said the following regarding why they did not make a video when they found out about the way Honey works years ago, in response to how he believed he might be perceived if he had raised awareness to Honey's actions when his team discovered them. "Everyone's mad at me. It's that simple. I'm spreading the word for the smaller creators. Your argument doesn't save me there, and it's not going to save me if I tell people to uninstall this extension that gets them a better deal so that smaller YouTube creators can get their affiliate revenue. Are you kidding me? There is just no way that I make that video and I don't end up hanging from the nearest tree.
Well, that's the video we're making right now. And if that were to result in backlash like he thinks it would, then so be it, because we think it's the right thing to do.
Now, you could argue that Steve's criticism was valid, but the way he shoehorned Linus into what was supposed to be an update about his lawsuit against Honey left a lot of viewers feeling uneasy, with one comment under the video reading, "I feel like the LTT cut was unjustified. I agree supporting consumers and that your move to sue is on the right track, but the drama seems almost out of place. It feels like clickbait at this point to include another YouTuber. You provide great support for charity and are a hard hitter where it counts. The lack of kindness towards Linus is disappointing and surprising in my opinion." So, what should have been a straightforward update about Honey and Gamers Nexus' pursuit of justice instead became the starting point for yet another feud with Linus. This time, however, the tech community didn't rally behind Steve like they did before, and more importantly, Linus had learned from his past mistakes in his previous clash with Steve. So instead of going on an emotional rant, he took his time to craft a rational and measured response for the next WAN Show episode simply titled Breaking My Silence. Linus opened up by highlighting that Steve took his words out of context in the Honey video to support his argument.
Earlier this week, Gamers Nexus took us out of context again, and I can't keep ignoring this whole thing. Even if we ignore how disingenuous it is to compare the climate today and what we know today to the climate years ago when we originally dropped our Honey sponsorship, our regular viewers will know that I provided additional context that dramatically changes the meaning of that quote. I mean, I don't expect everyone to agree with my viewpoint. It's very clear that not everybody does. But what I do expect is for it to be fairly represented.
This, on its own, would have been enough to dismantle any argument Steve made against Linus in his video. However, Linus wasn't done yet. He then revisited Steve's previous criticisms of LTT from a video back in 2023. And while Linus admitted that many of Steve's critiques in that video were valid, he also pointed out the fact that Steve did not reach out to him before publishing the video. This goes against the core ethical responsibilities of being a journalist, which Steve claims that he is. YouTuber Tito even called him out for this back in 2023.
But I'll be interested to hear the reason for the disparity. Steve, in his update video, explicitly states he doesn't have to ask permission, but that's not the point here. Reaching out to Linus Media Group wouldn't stop you from posting your video, just like it didn't stop you him posting the Principal Technologies or Newegg videos. The precedent set for the last 20 years of tech journalism and 100 plus years of investigative journalism is that you at least reach out.
Linus then went on to talk about why he thinks Steve is going after him in this manner. To him, this seems more like a personal vendetta, instead of something along the lines of journalistic responsibility. And it wasn't just Linus who thought so. Many in the community had started to share a similar sentiment. One popular theory that could explain the reason Steve was targeting Linus lay in how Gamers Nexus originally set itself apart from Linus Tech Tips. You see, Gamers Nexus stood out by doing deep dives into product data, running detailed tests, and breaking things down in a way most tech channels didn't. Meanwhile, Linus Tech Tips took a broader approach, discussing the overall viability and experience of using a product rather than the intricate details. And as the theory goes, when Linus built his new labs facility, which was all about in-depth data analysis, Steve felt threatened and started lashing out. A comment on Reddit summarized this perfectly. Steve is jealous of Linus starting labs and thinks they're stepping on GN toes, as if only GN can do testing, etc., and knows labs will be more successful than them and take traffic and business from them. Can't stand the competition, or the fact Linus will always be far more successful than them. That said, this is nothing more than a theory, and as you'll see, it's likely not true. But that doesn't stop people from labeling Steve as petty and jealous. Getting back to Linus's response on the WAN show, he ended the segment by reading an email he sent to Steve before going live. The purpose of this email was to reach out to Steve before doing his response.
Steve, on WAN Show today, I'll be doing a segment outlining some of the ethical and journalistic issues with your content that I've observed personally and that I have seen raised by the community.
To most viewers, this looks like Linus extending an olive branch to Steve. Maybe he was hoping to resolve the drama privately before going public. However, Steve did not take the offer. He actually leaked the full email on both his Twitter and YouTube community page a few hours before the WAN show, alongside a statement reading, "As for an initial written comment on this message, we feel it is a mischaracterization with leading statements and loaded questions. We will await the WAN show appearance where your views are presented, and we will, after that time, respond by sharing the things we've been hesitant to talk fully openly about out as well. However, his viewers did not take kindly to Steve wanting to extend the drama, with one person writing, "At this point, it feels petty to do this back and forth between you two. Either have an open conversation face to face, or leave it be. This feels like the standard stupid YouTuber drama, but with more professional sounding words and longer emails. It takes away from the points you're making, and in the initial PayPal Honey video, it also felt out of place even then. Viewers also advised Steve to slow down on his hectic upload schedule and take time off to collect himself, similar to what Linus did back in 2023. LTT took their week to pause production and reflect. I think it's time for Gamers Nexus to do the same. 100 plus hours a week is beyond burnout's territory. But just when it seemed Linus had the upper hand in this feud, Steve fired back with a response that left the community more divided than ever. On the 21st of January, Steve posted his latest channel update. In the description of this video, Steve linked to a lengthy blog post containing his response to Linus. However, instead of defending himself against Linus's comments about his journalistic integrity, Steve has decided to go on the offense. In this post, he has included 3 major allegations against Linus, alongside evidence to back his points. These include Linus blatantly plagiarizing Steve's content without any acknowledgement in the past, Steve contacting Linus Media Group about errors in their coverage and them failing to resolve them, and worst of all, Linus being extremely unprofessional and straight up rude behind the scenes. For example, according to Steve, Linus once called him, quote, "less autistic than you used to be," during a call back in 2021. And while all this was quite damning for Linus, it ultimately split the community in two. Many people believe this was Steve's attempted deflection by dodging the core issues and bringing up new allegations against Linus. On the other hand, some also went back to Steve's side in this argument, labeling Linus as a narcissist in the process. Following this exchange, both Linus and Steve stopped talking about each other and moved on to their usual content. And for a few days, it seemed like the feud had finally come to an end. That is, until an unexpected third party entered the picture with even more incriminatory evidence. On the 25th of January 2025, Lewis Rossman posted an hour-long video about Linus titled, "This is not an influencer." He opened the video by criticizing Linus's original response to the honey situation and his reasoning for not making an expose after learning the truth.
Seemed like he was worried about how he'd be perceived and how he'd be torn apart. So I'm going to quote one of these videos. And I quote, "If I told everybody, uninstall Honey, an extension that supposedly gets them a better deal because I wasn't making enough money from it, do you really, honestly, ask yourself, truly, do you think that would have gone well for me?" So Linus is asking his viewers to ask if they think it would have gone well for me. Firstly, answer.